C5 Insight is a Microsoft partner that plans, builds, and supports solutions in Dynamics 365, Teams, SharePoint, and the Power Platform. Contact us to modernize your business today.
So our speaker today is Tracy Winter from C5 Insight and Prashi Mishra from Microsoft, who we're excited to have on this call. And then for Q&A, Jeff Abel from C5 Insight will also be jumping in. So I'm going to pass it off to Prashi to get us started.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Haley. So let's begin with the fundamentals, right? What exactly is Copilot? I'm sure you've heard it all over the news, and by now you know how big AI is, right? And Copilot is essentially that assistant that you have as your new category of computing. It's going to be in everything you do so that you can work smarter, be more productive, and again, amplify your impact as a human being, right? I personally think this is as significant as the boom of the PCs in the 80s, the internet in the 90s, mobile phone in the 2000s, right? Now in the 2020s, we have AI. You'll see a lot of AI infused into your flows of work. And that's what I'm really excited to talk about today, because the overall goal is to use this to be more knowledgeable and really be more connected to the people around you so that you can be fully present. So you might be wondering, I hear there's Copilot. What are the differences, right? So with Copilot at Microsoft, we have two different types. One that's catered for the individual consumer. You might be seeing it in your Edge browser. That's free for all users. It's really fun to go and play around with. But today we're actually going to be focusing on the Copilot that's used for commercial customers, right? And we're going to be focusing on Copilot for sales. That's really going to help your salespeople at your company be more productive, be more efficient, and it's built on top of Copilot for Microsoft 365. So really excited to dive deeper into this. So as I mentioned, right, Copilot for Sales is built on Copilot for Microsoft 365. What that means is instead of your employees going out to ChatGPT and putting sensitive information out there to get assistance from AI, Copilot for Microsoft 365 is the answer to that problem, where you're protected by enterprise-grade Azure security, privacy, and compliance, and you're able to get AI assistance in every single flow of work, whether that's Teams, Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, and more. And this is all going to be connected through the Microsoft Graph. So you can be rest assured that all of the content you're getting through Copilot is actually grounded in real data that's protected by enterprise-grade security. So with that, when we look at Copilot for Sales, it sits on top of Copilot for Microsoft 365. And as we go into Copilot for Sales, it includes everything, but now it's your everyday AI for sales teams, right? It can now include everything you're getting in all of those productivity apps, but it's bridging that gap between your system of record and your systems of productivity. It seamlessly connects to Salesforce Cloud as well as Dynamic Sales and provides insights, content, and recommendations, really enhancing the connectivity of that sales-specific data and recommendations into those apps directly. And I do want to mention, as Copilot for Sales is rapidly innovating, we've also partnered with different technology partners, such as Adobe, Pros, DocuSign, DealHub, and DataBook, Korn Ferry. This is exciting because Outlook is one of the best ways to improve user adoption, right? It's a productivity tool that we all use in our day-to-day. So by making sure we're providing access to third-party extensibility options, it's going to help them be even more efficient. We're going to be surfacing LinkedIn profile data directly into the Outlook, so you don't have to context switch as much as you previously would need to without AI. We're also integrating with people.ai to provide data enrichment specifically for account research, as well as seismic integration to power those product recommendations and information. I was personally one of the worst early adopters, but as soon as I saw Copilot in my Outlook summarizing my emails for me, doing all of these great things, it's transformed the way I work and I'm able to scale so much better. And with that, I'm going to hand off to Tracy so she can show you how you can do the same.
Fantastic. Thank Prachi. You're taking away some of my my stuff because I agree. I was not a huge adopter right away, but now it essentially runs my life. So we'll show how it can for everyone else as well. So we're going to jump into email fundamentals. One of the key features, like Prachi had said, for Copilot with Sales is email, Outlook. And some of the things that it can do is that draft, summarize, and coaching. So before we jump into the email specifically, I want to talk about the numbers. The numbers don't lie. We have four powerful stats here, starting with 1.7 hours a day. That's the time of savings of employees using generative AI in the workplace. I personally feel like it's probably more savings, but I'll go with the stats. 72% of respondents who use AI extensively report high organizational productivity. Really, how can you not with a digital assistant that can help you with all of your questions? 90% of users say AI helps them save time, allowing them to focus on their most important work. We'll talk about this more throughout the presentation, but especially as a salesperson using AI consistently throughout the day, it's helped me so much to focus on what I need to do, which is get sales. 84% of users feel creative and enjoy their work more when using AI. I personally think this is more fun. I'm not a super creative. I am a very direct to the point. So I can use AI to create so many things, and it's so much fun to just let it go, which is it's great. So let's get into those email fundamentals. All right, so email draft. Sometimes you just don't know the best way to draft an email. You know what you want to get across, but you just don't know how to write it. I didn't use this right away, like I said, but it says, especially as I'm reaching out to the first time to a new contact or an existing contact, but a new topic, this feature has become insanely useful. I don't have to worry about how I should start it, how I should write it, just so that it comes across right. I can now use Copilot to just do it for me. So essentially what I'm doing is I just draft an email using Copilot, create throw in a prompt into the text box. And the prompt can be as simple as follow up with John Smith about the demo or thank Lisa Jones for the referral. Copilot will then generate the email based on the prompt using the data from CRM, such as contact name, opportunity, lead source, all of the information. The more you have, the more it has access to. So, the best part is to have Copilot create the subject line, which is the thing I hate doing the most. I hate subject lines no matter what. So it can create both the full email draft as well as that subject line for you. Once it's done, you can customize the tone and length of the email by choosing options like friendly, formal, or casual, or even short, medium, or long. Then you edit as needed and send it. So I'll stop talking and we'll actually see a video of how it's done.
Together, let's take a look at how we can use Copilot for Sales in Outlook to draft and send more effective emails. To start, we need to find Copilot for Sales, and that'll be located in your Apps button directly inside of your ribbon. There's going to be a couple options, and I want to start by searching Copilot for Sales because I want to send over one of my CRM records to Jeff before we start drafting an email. I'm going to go ahead and just click into search for record to pull up some of my recent ones. And after clicking on the one I want to send, it's automatically going to pull a record from my CRM directly into this email. Now that Jeff had time to review the account in CRM, I'm going to hop into the email thread that he started with one of their main contacts. Once again, I'm going to open up Copilot for Sales, this time using the full panel that is going to appear on the right. And you're going to notice that because I already have my contact linked in my To section to send my email, it's automatically going to pull information from CRM that is tied to that contact. So I can see additional contacts linked with them, current opportunities we have open, their full account information, and more. I wanted to draft an email asking to summarize the email thread that we've already been having and to propose a meeting time. From here, it's going to take just a moment to summarize everything that's already been talked about. And once that is done, all I have to do is click Add to Email, and it's instantly going to bring that into the message and allow me to get that meeting started.
Perfect. All right. So that is drafting an email. Now let's talk about summarizing an email. So to summarize an email or a thread using Copilot, you simply need to select the email or thread in Outlook and click on the Copilot icon. Copilot will then provide you with a summary that captures the main points and actions of the email and thread. If the thread is long, Copilot will use numbered citations. You can kind of see that in here. This is great because a lot of times I want to see not only the summary and some of the points, but I need some of the relation around it. A lot of times, and this is where a lot of that time saving is I try to skim through the email. I end up having to skim through the email 10 times to find what I need. This saves it. This gives me the summary, and then I can click on the different point to find where in that thread is this piece so that I can read just that piece around it. This has been a lifesaver in so many times. Long ago, long goes the TLDR, and getting everyone to summarize it for you, and they're not doing it correctly. So I love to summarize the email. You can also access additional insights from Copilot, such as the context profile, opportunity, next steps. This way you can save on top of all of your emails and get the information you need quickly. Now, I use it daily, hourly, all the time. Like I said, I use it even on the shortest emails, because one of the other things I like is you can actually see recent communications, even if it's not part of this thread. So you've got the summary, you also have those recent communications, you've got everything in one spot. This is how I use it for multiple threads going on with a client or even internally with someone. It allows me to feel like I don't have to remember everything, which honestly, I remember nothing, which is why I've always had to take good notes. So let's take a look at this demo here.
Let's take a look at another Copilot feature found in Outlook that can seamlessly integrate with your CRM using Copilot for Sales. Today, we're going to be talking about Summary by Copilot, and as you see, this feature is going to automatically appear at the top of any email or email thread that you may have. All you have to do is click on the summary, and it's going to take just a moment to generate a full summary of the email after scanning all of the information that you may have missed. And in this summary, it's going to give you the important people, topics, and if needed, we'll even give you citations to where in that email thread the information is coming from. Not only that, but I can go a step further by clicking into Add Sales Insights. It's going to take just another moment to scan through and try to pull out any information that is more specific to the sales process. After the additional scan, you're going to see updated verbiage all through my summary, including additional information that is more specific to my sales process with this client. If this looks great and I want to save that information, all I have to do is click on my Go to Sales button at the bottom to open up my full Copilot for Sales panel that allows me to save this directly into CRM.
Okay, perfect. Now on to the email coaching. So to coach your email using Copilot, you'll just need to type your email as usual in Outlook and then click on the Copilot icon. Personally, this is what I did, and why I didn't use the email writing right away. I used the coaching. I now use all three on a consistent basis. But what I really like to do is write the email. Copilot will then review your email and offer suggestions on tone, reader sentiment, and clarity. So tone suggestions help you adjust the tone of your email to match your intention behind the audience. So friendly, formal, or casual, depending on who you're talking to. Reader sentiment suggestions help you understand how your email might make the reader feel, such as positive, negative, or neutral. Clarity suggests you help improve the readability and structure of your email, such as grammar, punctuation, word choice, etc. Then you can choose to accept it, reject the solutions or suggestions, and then send your email. This way you can have intentionality behind the message you send and ensure that they are clear and effective, appropriate. So this is, like I said, my favorite. It gives me more confidence that the emails I send will be taken for the way I mean for them versus the unknown. You write an email and you're not sure if they are going to, if the recipient is actually going to take it the way you mean it to be, say something nice, that tone and sentiment is really helpful. It's AI. There's no emotion behind it. It will tell you what it is that, what's the likely tone and sentiment the reader will get. So I really love this specific feature. So let's see it in action.
Let's take a look at how we can use coaching by Copilot to help us elevate the messages that we're sending to our clients. I've already gone ahead and drafted an email and linked an account from my CRM using Copilot for Sales, but now I want to make sure that this reads correctly before I send it over. All I have to do is open up Copilot and click on my coaching feature, and it'll take just a second to analyze and scan through what I already have typed up and give me some suggestions that I can make to improve my overall messaging. And after just a moment, it's going to scan through the message that was there and give me some different recommendations for the message at hand. It's going to include the tone, the reader sentiment, and the clarity, and give me different ways that I can improve my message based on how it thinks my client's going to read it.
Fantastic. So a lot of great functionality within email, very easy to use. It's intuitive, opening it up and just adding a few additions to it, your prompts in order to get what you need. So what I want to go into next is our sales and CRM integration. So with the CRM data and workflows, you can help manage your sales process more efficiently and effective and accurately. Copilot for sales integration with Dynamics 365 and Salesforce is our focus today. So we can help you manage your customer relationships, your pipeline, services, cases, and more. So as a salesperson, I am horrible about making sure all of my contacts are in CRM. Not because it's hard, but because I just forget. But with Copilot, I can see right on the email if the contact is in CRM or not. It's quick to add with an AI form filling, so I don't even have to type in all of the information. You can see it'll scan the signature line, add in the information, and then you can just a quick click to add. Another quick click to add is getting that email into CRM. So every salesperson, every manager, IT, and more would love to see all business emails in CRM. This is the quick way to add it and get it in there without having to go across multiple tools. When you send or receive an email that is related to a contact or an opportunity in CRM, Copilot will recognize that and offer you the option to save the email in the CRM record. This way you can keep track of all of your communication history and have a complete view of your customer interactions. We'll take a look at that video.
Today, I received an email from Allie Jamison at Contoso. I'll open that email, then click the apps icon above the email and choose to open Copilot for Sales. Since I regularly use Copilot for Sales, I'll also click the push pin to automatically have Copilot open for all of my emails. I can see that Allie isn't in our CRM yet, but her other coworkers in the email are. Let's add Allie to CRM. As you can see, Copilot has looked at Allie's signature line to fill in as much information on the new contact form as possible. I'll fill in the company name and save the record. I'm also going to save the email to CRM, and I'll attach it to the opportunity I've already opened for the Contoso account.
Easy, quick clicks. Everything is much better when it's a quick click. So we'll take a look at reviewing. So while we cover Copilot and CRM in a later session, I do want to point out how easy it is to see CRM information in Outlook without having to go across those tools unless necessary. So in the same navigation, you can add contacts or save your emails. You have the account and opportunity information. You can easily review the account data, additional contacts as needed, your leads, or you can review the opportunity high-level details or just get a quick update with key information. These are incredibly useful to a salesperson that has just received an email from a client and goes, what am I even talking to them about? What have I been talking to them about? Here it is. I don't have to go in CRM. I can find the account or opportunity. The basics are right here. If I want to dive in, it might be a more complex customer. It might be a more complex sale. It's easy to do a quick click through in CRM, and there it is. Now, as you can see, all the same information is in Salesforce as well. So your contacts, ops, accounts, even that Teams collaboration. So something I didn't show on the CRM or on the last panel, I want to show it here is you can easily create that account team or deal room in order to continue collaboration with your team or even the customer throughout Teams. That was our presentation for our email fundamentals, sales, CRM. I'm going to pass it back to Haley to discuss our next steps.
All right, so I just made a note in our Q&A that we welcome you to request these slides. We don't gatekeep. If you would like a downloaded version of this with hot links to the demos that Tracy shared, go ahead and request at c5insight.com/slides, and we'd be happy to get them to you. All right, before we jump into our Q&A section, we want to share a couple opportunities that you have to engage with C5. First, wherever your organization falls on the spectrum of AI adoption, which is pretty large, C5 can meet you where you're at and help you move forward strategically. So if you'd like to learn more about how we can support your AI and Copilot adoption journey, send us a message on our contact page by visiting c5in.co/contact. And next, we're excited to share that C5 Insight is delivering over 10 sessions and 4 Academy classes at Community Summit this October. It's the largest independent event for Microsoft Business applications. So if you'd like to get a summary of our sessions and register for this event if you haven't already, we encourage you to visit c5in.co/summit to learn more. All right, so let's move into our Q&A portion of today's webinar. I want to start out with a question that I feel like most people have, even though we haven't had it shared in the Q&A section yet, and it's, what is the security like for Copilot? Whether it's Copilot for Sales, Microsoft, Copilot 365, what organizational data is it using? Is it safe? Can you give some insight into that, Prachi?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Haley, and it's one we're always asked in every single demo that we actually do. And I can assure you that, yes, the data is secure. The sources that it's accessing is your CRM, which is, protected by Microsoft Entra ID. So you're only allowed to view what your credentials let you see. And your Microsoft Graph data, which includes your Outlook emails, Teams messages, and more. But everything stays within the context of your tenant. It's never leaving the environment, and your customer data is never used to train any of our models. So it is extremely secure, and it is a certified Microsoft app. So it follows a lot of our rigorous security and compliance standards as well.
I do want to add in there. So while Prachi is correct, the tool and solution as a whole is, it follows all of Microsoft security, and she said rigorous standards and everything, which is great. We can support and help in making sure that you are Copilot ready internally. And that's helping support on accessibility and who has access to data in different areas. Just internally, you might have some type of requirements and securities and everything for approvals and who has access to what. So there are ways to even do it within an organization as well.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think that's a really good call out, Tracy, because even though Copilot is secure and it's only accessing organizational data, what data can specific employees access when they're prompting Copilot? So I think that's a really helpful call out. All right, so today we really talked about getting started with Copilot for sales, specifically in email, which I think is one of the most beneficial ways to use Copilot to improve your efficiency on a day-to-day basis, really for anybody. But how important would you say this is for an organization? Are there any quantifiable metrics that we have around Copilot for sales in email, maybe specifically?
Yeah. Go ahead, Prachi.
No, go ahead, Tracy. I don't want to steal your thunder. I'll add it after you.
You know, it's funny because Microsoft researchers found that 25% of the most active users of the app spent about 8.8 hours a week reading and writing emails. According to Microsoft study, a majority of that said they think they can, that artificial intelligence would help lessen the load. We had a lot of the stats at the beginning, that 1.7 hours alone, 1.75, I believe is what it was, hours alone. Again, I think that is even a low amount of time saved as you are doing, especially active users using it for all three of those areas. I think the average is probably 1.75. I think an active can definitely save significantly more.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. Yes, I was going to add to that. Like, I really appreciate that Tracy has all the statistics because anecdotally, I feel I save more than 2 hours per week. It's also, I feel it's so important to have Copilot and AI solutions in your daily apps that you're using all the time because it's going to help make people more comfortable with using AI. It's going to summarize your information. And like you saw, help you respond to those emails, right? Like, how cool is it to not feel bogged down every day, but all the email threads you're copied on. So anecdotally, I'd say it's extremely, imperative that we have our AI solutions helping us be more efficient. So thanks, Tracy, for having all the stats on hand.
Absolutely.
Now, Prachi, I think one thing that you said was helpful about how integrated Copilot for Sales is across an organization. So one thing that we hear is Salesforce has an AI that's similar to Copilot. What's the differentiator with that system's AI compared to Copilot for Sales with people who might be towing the line between using Salesforce but also Microsoft applications in their organization?
That's another great question. I will say that what's exciting about Copilot for Sales is, like I've been saying, it meets your users where they already are. To my knowledge, the Salesforce AI only works within Salesforce, whereas Copilot for Sales works in all of your other productivity applications. And it does integrate with the Salesforce CRM. So let's say you're a customer who has a Salesforce CRM, but you're using Word, you're using PowerPoint, Teams, Outlook. That's when you're going to be able to get AI in every single flow of work, so you don't have to go and context switch. And I will add that Copilot for Sales is built on the Azure platform, which is, again, protected by enterprise-grade security, privacy, and compliance. And it's one of the most trusted platforms amongst the Fortune 500. So there is that assurance from Microsoft, as well as being a first mover in the AI space.
Yeah, I think that's helpful, knowing that it has more functionality outside of Microsoft, Dynamics 365, CRM, and other tools, but it's most effective inside of those environments because you're pulling data from your everyday work apps.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
Yeah. On that note, we just talked a little bit about Salesforce. What about in comparison to ChatGPT? I know that we kind of talked about the differentiator maybe of Copilot for Sales in general, but a lot of people use that in the very beginning. It was accessible, using it to draft their emails and, ideating content, maybe even writing content. So do you have any specific things that you want to say about Copilot for Sales compared to why somebody would use that over ChatGPT maybe?
Absolutely. And I agree, Haley. I was definitely a first user of ChatGPT. We even got the pro version back in the days. But honestly, while it uses the same AI engine, I will say what I like about Copilot is, again, it's secure, right? I have my Microsoft credentials. So whenever I'm responding to emails, I know that that data is safe. And like you said, it's surfacing all of your organizational data. Some really cool prompts you can go in and say, hey, like, what kind of style do I have based on my team's messages? And it called me, oh, you're kind of sassy, So there's fun things where it gets to know you over time. The Copilot is your bestie. ChatGPT, it doesn't get to know you the same way that Copilot does by looking at all your organizational data, keeping you safe, and again, making sure it meets you in that flow of work in Outlook, Teams, PowerPoint, and more.
I need to try that now. I am super excited to see what what Copilot says.
You'll be
But I
surprised.
agree, right? No kidding. But I do agree, and it is one of the pieces, and that's kind of like what I talked about with some of the other things with being able to be more creative and having access and stuff using. So I was a ChatGPT user and still am to some extent. Absolutely, why not? But when I'm doing anything for work, for business, for, in my day to day on, what I'm doing, there's nothing like Copilot because I have the access. I can see the information in CRM, in Teams, my meetings, my chats, my other emails. Like it has just so much that it can pull from PowerPoints, from these decks and everything. So if I need anything, I'm newer to C5, and something that I used to use Copilot for was, how did Jeff explain something to me, on what this is, and it can look across everything, and it looks across all of these tools. So it's just so easy to use it in a business sense because of the accessibility it has across the different apps.
Yeah, I was also thinking that speaks a little bit to prompt engineering. You were just talking about like how easy and accessible it is to be using. And I think people's first kind of usage with ChatGPT was that it was just like widely available and they could kind of like put anything in there and it would really say anything back, like hallucinate and just give you whatever, it said without really, sourcing where it's getting that information. But Microsoft Copilot for Sales is the same in the sense that like you don't need to be like a prompt engineer quote. It's just as accessible and easy to use, but it's more secure. It's accessing organizational data based on your tenant and your permissions. And so it's more relevant and you can trust it way more than, an exterior AI like ChatGPT that doesn't have access to all of that information. All right. Well, I don't see any other Q&As coming in here. So we will go ahead and wrap up today's session. So I did leave a link in the Q&A, but also want to encourage attendees to request presentation slides if this interested you and you'd like to share it with a colleague or get some more time to look at these demos and maybe follow along while you're using Copilot for Sales in your workday. So you can either click the link in the Q&A or request the slides at c5in.co/slides.